Hello everyone, I am Michael Pache and you are watching Crash Course History featuring Peron-Era Argentina. Now, most of us know Argentina for their beef and their soccer players. But many of you don't know about the political stance of Argentina. Their history is also quite interesting. Argentina was able to colonize itself while gaining independence in 1816. They celebrate Independence Day 5 days after ours. How about that? Later, in the mid-1900s, after a few civil wars, Juan Perón came into power, and the Peron era begins to shape history. Juan Perón was a former president of Argentina who made his start in Argentina's military and later became the well-respected politician that he is known for today. While he was on tour in Europe, he witnessed the Nazis and Mussolini's fascism, and his form of nationalistic government influenced Juan's views of the government. He soon started running for presidency after he was given power and government position from the military. Eva, also known as Evita, his soon-to-be wife, helped him campaign for presidency while he gained both more influence in the military as well as power and in the public. He became president of Argentina 3 times, in 1946, 1951, and 1973. After he was successfully overthrown, come on, who gets elected by the same people who overthrew him as well? He ended up serving for over 10 years as president of Argentina. Juan Perón had other government positions besides president. For example, vice president and minister of labor. His focus was on the working class. And now for the daily letter. Madonna's Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. So while Madonna was playing Evita in a movie, she sang the song Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. She basically said that she was always with them and she never left them, just because she went from a lower class person to a higher class person. It sounds like the kind of thing that Lionel Messi would say to the rest of Argentina after they lost to Germany.
Bruh.
During his first presidential term, his second wife, Eva Duarte, participated with him and supported Juan. He met her in the Sub-Secretariat of Information, an organization that he later involved himself with through the Group of United Offices, the nationalistic secret organization that Juan was affiliated with and thus received power from. She also helped Perón escape his imprisonment with the jealous military in 1946. She later established the Eva Perón Foundation in 1948, which was perhaps the greatest contribution to her husband's social policy. Perón became president in 1946 and influenced the founding of the Judicial Party. He considered his ideology. This was fascist democracy hybrid that stressed obedience, discipline, free elections, and the hierarchy of officials with totalitarian rule. It was based off of European fascism. Juan Perón focused mostly on the military and state-based affairs. Both military and the Catholic Church supported him for a while. Then after his first term ended, he was elected again in 1951. Eva Perón became the first woman of substantial power, and she acted as a voice of the government and with the people everywhere. She fulfilled the promise of social justice and formed the Peronist Women's Party. Well, what a coincidence, named for a part, don't you think? But because of that party, the rights of women increased. She would be loved by the country and elected vice president. Eva also introduced social justice and equality into the nationalist discourse. But when she died, only the working class supported Juan and the rest had enough. Wow, doesn't that stink, having your wife die and now most don't like you anymore? It's like you weren't even a real president for Argentina. Then, the revolts came in 1955, which would end Perón in his era. Military threats and church revolts, as well as the death of Eva, forced Juan into exile. The Peronist Judicial Political Party still had influence, and Juan's third wife, Isabel, continued preaching his ideology in the newly made military government. Then Juan, in 1973, decided to run again for president, and he was elected. Come on, he was exiled and then elected a couple years later. Anyway, he began fixing the weak economy, but sadly his poor health led to his death in 1974. Then Isabel took over and became the first woman president out of any country. She tries to pay off debts by printing more money, which caused 200% inflation, and tried to impose the state of siege, since the country was on the brink of anarchy. Eventually, her ideas wouldn't work, and she was seized by the military to be imprisoned for 5 years, and then she was driven out of presidency. This officially marked the era of the Peron-Era. Although many ups and downs, there was a legacy to be left. After the end of Isabel's presidency, there was a very rough transition period where favoritism ruled the country. This soon led to the Videla regime, and later the Dirty War. Civil rights were violated, up to 30,000 were killed, and the government was shattered. Eventually, Nestor Kirchner, a supporter of Peronism, took presidency in 2003. His wife Cristina soon followed his example and became president.
Thanks for watching Peron-Era Argentina with Crash Course History. I'm Michael Pache. I'll talk to you next time.